Hey, welcome to Credit Makes Sense with Netiva, the Frugal CrediTnista. Hope you guys are doing well. For those of you who are new to me, hey, welcome. Credit Makes Sense segment that I do here live is where I answer my most burning questions that I receive from either my Facebook group, Credit Makes Sense, left the link in the description, from comments on live such as this and down below. So if you have questions along the way that I don't get to, we usually take the ones that I haven't covered anywhere else and answer those for you, and for those that are submitted via my email list. And I'll show you how you can get your questions answered during this live segment as well. So excited to be here with you. Hey, I see some of my partners and my Credit on Fire members from my members club rolling in. If you're a partner, put hashtag partner in the comments. You know how we get down. And if you are a Credit on Fire member, put up those fire emojis. Let's get lit. All right, so let me hey, let me get to the questions that were submitted for this segment. Oh, and for those of you who don't know me, I am Netiva, the Frugal CrediTnista. I am a certified credit counselor, personal finance coach, realtor, lover, and educator of all things finance. I own the free community Credit Makes Sense, or founded, I should say, the free community Credit Makes Sense, which is a dope community of individuals who are just looking to soar their credit scores, master their money, destroy their debts. It's a great supportive community for those who are looking to slay their financial goals. Also on M&H Financial Services, we provide one-on-one consultations and credit coaching programs that help you to repair, restore, rebuild, and transform your credit scores. And I also own Credit on Fire, which is a lit members club that helps people to master their money, destroy their debts or their credit scores, and literally just get overall total control of their money and their finances so they can begin leveraging it to create wealth. We're called Credit on Fire Members Club, and we are the wealth creators. So super excited to be with you guys today, and let me get to it. So I got a question from Julissa, and it says that she went and got her credit pulled from a credit card company, and it pulled something up that was approximately 10 to 11 years old. She was wondering what to do. That is really old. I haven't seen that on too many occasions where they go back that far and have it being an issue. I'm assuming since you sent the question that you were denied. You didn't tell me if you were denied or you were just wondering why they saw it. Different property management firms use different systems, and some of those systems go way back. Probably the longest one that I've seen go back was probably about 19 years. And if you're wondering if you should pay it, absolutely not. It's way past your statute of limitations. I would just see why they would focus on something so old if your financial habits have been on point since then. Now, if your financial habits haven't been on point, I would say maybe 5 years back to present, depending on how luxury the apartment you're trying to get, then that's why they're going back that far. If you have been totally on point for the past 5 years, you shouldn't have a problem. For the less luxury apartments, it's usually the past 2 to 3 years, but usually 5 years is standard in property management as far as how far they go back. Each one uses a different system. Each one has different criteria for approving tenants. I noticed some more upscale, maybe is a good word, neighborhood that you try to apply for an apartment or a townhome or house or rent, any type of rental in, the more they're going to dig into your finances and that report from wherever they pull it from. So it's up to you if you want to, actually it's not up to you. What I would do is get a copy of the report that they pulled and look at it. Look at it, see what's on it, what's going on with it, if it's accurate or not. If anything's not factual. You can dispute a consumer report the same way you do with the 3 credit bureaus. So have at it and make sure everything is legit, especially if you encounter more than one property management firm that's pulling it. Yeah, and it's all about that. I will get the report and see what's going on with it. But they do look at a different reports. They can go way back than the 7 years that the bureaus go back on. And I'll see what's going on. So that's that. I'm paying down my credit card debt. This is from Maria Rodriguez. Would a personal loan improve credit score because of lowering my credit utilization? It can. I'll tell you, I love to tell you guys my story, my experiences as I have migrated from, being over $500,000 in debt, having under 500 credit scores, and probably going through every negative credit reporting on the face of the planet. Well, I was paying off debt. One of the things that I did, I had credit card debt, and I was like, okay, well, I can get approved for this loan, and the interest rate was like, I want to say 13%, maybe a little bit under. And then my credit cards were, all of them were over 20, right? So I thought 13%, that's awesome. What I didn't think about is the term. So, with your credit cards, your minimum payments are anywhere from $25, $50, even $100, depending on what the balance is. And then you have the personal loan that usually has a term of like maybe 3 to 5 years. So you take a credit card that you can pay over however long you want at just that minimum rate. You're definitely not going anywhere. And then you have this personal loan that has a term of maybe 3, 5 years. And so for me personally, the minimum payments equaled like maybe, I don't know, 300 and something. But then when I consolidated them into this one loan, it like doubled. Okay. And so that was like a big hit to my budget. Not necessarily my credit score. It was great for the credit score, but I didn't think the budget part through. So, and once I got into the credit counseling capacity, it's been years since then. One of the things I always tell people to do is to think about the entire full scope and the entire picture. How much are you paying total on your credit cards now? How long have you been doing it? If you continue to do it the way you're doing it, how long would it take for you to pay off the card? Then look at the personal loan. Don't just look at the interest rate, but look at what your payments would be based on the term that they're offering you. How much sooner would you be able to pay off that loan? Because it is going to, in most cases, it is going to be higher than the minimum payments that you've made on your cards, but you've now freed up the cards, you have this loan, and you'll be able to pay it off. So those are the pluses. So those are the two things that I would consider. And please, for the love of all things, Frugal CrediTnista style, for the love of all things prosperity, okay? Do not charge your credit cards back up. That's probably the number one thing that people do. They pay it off, they get the loan, and then next thing you know, they have the credit card debt plus the personal loan. Also, don't sacrifice your personal savings to pay down the credit card debt. A lot of people think I don't make enough to save, but honestly, if you have money constraints, if you're not saving and something comes up, then you're just charging back on your credit cards, or you're bringing in the type, they call them predatory lending in most cases, the title loans, the payday loans, and all of that good stuff. And it's just a constant cycle that you're digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into. So a little more in depth than you probably asked for, but that was the question. So the next one I got, actually I answered that one, another one, so I'll respond back to her. Let's see. My daughter has no credit, so that means she doesn't have a credit score. What can she do to start getting her credit improved? So this is from Genesee Smith. So Genesee, you didn't tell me your daughter's age. So that's one thing. If she's under 18, typically credit card companies, this used to be totally different in the past, but they don't really rock with them unless they're a student. Then you can get a student credit card. Other than that, the best thing to do is add her as a authorized user. You can see if she can get a credit builder loan through a credit union. They usually will do like the younger folks who are under 21. I would prefer you to get the credit builder loan that does not give her the money until after she's paid the loan. So what they'll do, they'll say, okay, well, you get, you're approved for a $500 credit builder loan. And then they'll say it'll be a monthly payment of, I don't know, let's just say $30 over a set period of time. She'll pay the $30. They include whatever interest you're going to make off the loan. And then once she's done, they're going to give that money to her inside of a savings account. So it's like she's paying into a savings. To develop a habit, what I usually do with my young folks is have them continue making that monthly payment that they were paying for that credit builder loan into their savings account like clockwork. That way they puts them in a habit of continuously paying themselves first, saving no matter what, not spending their savings while building credit. And if they do that for a few years, and they're going to have a nice little nest egg saved up. But usually after maybe the first year of paying the builder loan, they get that deposit, another year of saving. Then I start getting some of that, or maybe adding on, because sometimes they get jobs or be ready to graduate and then get a job. It's time to start discussing investing, because one of the things that I greatly regret is not investing early. I didn't start to maybe my late 20s, then paused, then started back up. But if she can get going, like, as early as possible, even at the 18 mark. But if I don't know what you guys' finances are like, whatever, but if she can start early, even when she gets that first job, that would be ideal. That way she's going to have lit credit, she's going to have savings, and she's going to be starting her investing part early. So if you got any questions on that, definitely let me know. I answered the credit cards being too many on another one, so I will forward that answer to you, Miss Mika. Tamika, sorry, Mika. And here's the other one. I got a congratulations. Following your advice, Inside of Credit Makes Sense. Again, that's our free group of my scores. Oh, okay. She showed me a picture of her scores, which are 800 and 794. Work it, girl. That's on Credit Karma, but we'll take it. We celebrate them all, right? That's good stuff. I'm super proud of you. Excited to be a part of your journey. It makes us happy. Let me see. Is it better to pay off your debt yourself or just hire someone to fix your credit? This is from Aisha. Those are two separate things. I mean, if you pay your debt off, I mean, you're just paying your debt off. So, I mean, you haven't really elaborated on if this is current open debts, or are you talking about collections, charge-offs, etc. If you're talking about collections and charge-offs, I literally just got a comment from somebody who said she paid everything off of her credit report and her credit scores are still in the 500s, upper 500s, but still in the 500s. So, that's because, I mean, it's still negative stuff on your credit report. It's just at $0. So when you pay something off, sometimes you'll get no incentive, and sometimes you'll just get a couple of points, like a couple. And so there has to be more of a strategy if you're paying off your debt just to increase your credit scores. Now, if these are open accounts, like open credit cards, open loans, by all means, get out of debt. But if you're trying to pay off this old stuff just to increase your credit scores, I would have a more strategic plan of action in place, and we can definitely help you achieve that. You can go to soarmyscores.com, soarmyscores.com. I'll go ahead and edit the video to include that, and we can help you create a plan of action. As far as hiring someone to fix your credit, I mean, heck, I ran a very successful credit repair business for a while, and we've helped hundreds to actually, over the years, probably thousands, to increase their credit scores. So if you feel that you want to hire someone, great. But since you're asking, it must mean you're still a little iffy. So if some part of you you want to learn how to do it yourself. If that's the case, then I would definitely recommend our Credit on Fire Academy. Because that's exactly what I do. I created it to literally walk you through from start to finish how to soar your credit scores, how to rebuild it, what products to add on, how to pay off your debts, how to budget, how to put yourself in a position to purchase your first investment property, how to put yourself in a position to purchase your first home. It literally is going to walk you from start to finish, and it has a ton of support, accountability, and all of that good stuff. So I would definitely rock out that way. We can talk about Credit on Fire a little bit before I go, because that would be absolutely dope for you. And I'll leave the link. You can go to creditonfire.us, creditonfire.us. Let me see. I am looking to purchase a home, and I'm afraid that the credit inquiries are going to drop my score, which is going to affect my credit. I would research first, as far as the home ownership goes, what type of lender you may need. I know that may sound weird when you hear it initially, or what your loan type will be. So if you know you're going to go FHA, then you can then start researching different FHA underwriting guidelines or approval guidelines, just for a more easy to understand word. And then if you know you got a little cushion saved, your credit's on point and all that good stuff, then you may want to go conventional. You can research that. If you're a veteran, you may want to go veteran. You can research that. After you research that, then you go into how much money you got, access, assets, and all of that good stuff, and they'll let you know how much money you want to bring to the table. If you need to seek out home ownership programs, and they have their preferred lenders and all of that good stuff. Naturally, I have a resource for you. So the resource I have for you is, again, Credit on Fire, because I have a home buying masterclass in there as well. For those of you who are partners, and put the hashtag partner in there. You also know I have a free 10-day challenge that literally walks you through at least the starter parts of that. And then the masterclass takes it much further, and we go over down payment assistance programs, underwriting guidelines, different programs such as NACA that can help you, different places to research, down payment assistance programs, and like so much more. And it has like 8 lives from realtors, attorneys, NACA. Like it's just pretty in depth. So it's pretty dope. So I would consider that. Okay, all the mistakes I made were young and when I was ignorant and didn't really know about credit. So I'm trying to work to get them off since they are such small amounts. One of them is a balance on an old apartment. Okay, so whenever I see old, pay, and credit, I get a little bit like standoffish. And I'll tell you why. You have old stuff on there. You think you're going to pay it off, and you think it's going to drastically improve your credit scores, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's old. It's probably about to fall off. Let it fall off. I will want you to focus first and foremost on what you're doing right now. If you don't have anything open, if you're not paying on anything positively, if your balances aren't super low, then you're not feeding anything new and positive into the FICO scoring model. And because of that, FICO is simply scoring all of this old stuff. For those of you who don't know what FICO is, it's the credit score that you should be concerned about, because it's you literally what probably over 80% of car lenders, home lenders, credit card providers, personal loan, etc. utilize when approving us for stuff. So feed it something positive. What are you doing right now to improve your scores versus looking at all that old stuff? Because you're going to pay the old stuff, you're going to waste some money, and then your scores are still going to not be the greatest. So I would focus on that first and foremost. Let me see. I'm gonna answer this on a separate question. It's regarding dating and credit. So I'll answer this separately in a different video because that was a really good question. How can I delete my student loans off my credit report? Why would you want to? I mean, some cases I can see why you're still gonna owe them. So let's kind of backtrack. And I did another live if you want to look at the videos on here that kind of went over that. When you're talking student loans, for most of us, they are old. My student loans are probably the oldest thing on my credit report. So if you were to eliminate yours and they're old, then it's going to eliminate all that age. Age is 15% of your credit, your FICO score. So that your scores are going to take a hit. So think about that. Number two, you're probably wondering because of the late payments on there, what's the best way? For late payments in particular, sometimes deletion isn't the best if the account is older. If you were to keep that account on there with that age and then take that negative information and just start paying it positively until you start paying it off, that's going to have a significant improvement on your scores as well. If you're thinking you want to remove your student loans because of the late history in order to get approved for a home, I get that a lot. Don't be misled. They will find out because they pull a CABR's report just to see if you have any defaults. So you didn't tell me the status of it. I don't know if you got a default or whatever, but I just want to give you that little bit of information. They're not going anywhere. So let me know that. But otherwise, in order to get them deleted, the best way is to find an error. I find an error in the amounts. I find an error in the payment history. So if you look at the 30, 60, or the red, greens, and yellows at the bottom, that shows the payment history. I find a lot of errors in that. So yeah, those are the main things. Sometimes the status date. So those are where I find most of the errors at on student loans, and I would just dispute that error. Let me take a few more. I have a few credit cards with zero balances. If I close them, will it affect my score? I don't use them at all. It very well could. I don't know what other cards you have, but those zero balance cards are feeding into your limit. So how utilization is calculated. If you have, like, I don't know, 10 cards, all of them $1,000, so that's $10,000. You only use 2 of them, you use them like $500. So your utilization is looking gravy because you're only using $500 of a $10,000 total credit limit, right? So if you eliminate the bulk of them, then you have like, I don't know, 3 left. So then you got 500 with a 3,000. Let me calculate that just so you can know what that looks like. So if you have 500 divided by 10,000, your utilization is like 5%. You take 3,000, so 500 divided by 3,000. I said 300. This is real time, folks. Don't laugh now. Okay, now you're looking at 16, well, about 17%. That's not bad, but it's not as great as like 5%. Like 5% is gravy. I always tell my students, my members, and clients that, you know, I generally like to be 1 to 3% if you got like super high credit limits and don't want to use it. And then otherwise 5 to 7%, like anything under 10% is like love. So I would consider that. Hi, my scores are, this is from Brittany. My scores are 667, 641, and 651. I'm looking for another credit card to help build my credit. Your credit is built. I mean, I don't see why you need another credit card unless you have, oops, I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me read the rest of the comment. So let me read it all, Brittany. I'm looking for another credit card to help build my credit. I have Credit One and Capital One. What would be my best option to go with? Okay, so you only have 2. My bad. I was about to go in, but I'll take it back. If you have Credit One and Capital One is one of those cards that can grow with you with your credit. Like they can go from like just starting off secured, subprime, not great, all the way up to like some of their venture and other products that are for your more higher scores. So you're like heading on between fair and good, and some you'll be good as far as your credit rating. So you don't need Credit One anymore. So I agree with you. I would try to get everything at 0, as close to 0 as possible. Definitely pay off Credit One, close that, go with a Discover, try out Barclay, I don't know if you're like a Walmart shopper, but Walmart has a really good MasterCard Visa type program. I forget which one. I think it's MasterCard. That one's really good for your price range. Depending on your debt load and what else you have on your credit, like if it's bankruptcy or whatever, I wouldn't go this route. But if not, then Chase has a pretty decent product that some of my clients have been approved for in the mid 600s. So I would definitely be looking for another one. If you're just looking for one, I would try Discover, because usually that's a sure bet. Discover has a pretty good product. All right, one more. Let me see which one I'm going to do. Let me see, guys. They flying on here. So okay, I filed bankruptcy. Credit score went up a bit. What do I do next? What do I get a credit card to build my credit back? Okay, and for those of you, I didn't share my screen on this particular live, but the scores are 528 to 555. They went up 19 points and 34 points. She's on Credit Karma. So I would have to see what else you did, or what's left over. A lot of times when people file bankruptcy, they don't look at the accounts that were discharged in bankruptcy. I would do that. You'll sometimes find some errors. You can delete them bad boys off of there. That'll be significant in improving your scores. I do that before I even tackle the actual bankruptcy itself. If you don't have a credit card, I definitely will. With 528 and 555, you can probably get a secured Discover It or a secured Capital One, or one of those no credit check ones such as Open Sky. I don't know if you have a secured account. Self-lender might be good for you at this point. So it's usually a mixture, and we do have a rebuilding after bankruptcy course inside of Credit on Fire. But I look at what was discharged and if that's reporting correctly. Then I look at any errors that I might find in the bankruptcy itself. Then I look at what's left. If you haven't added on anything, I'll usually simultaneously add on a card. I don't like a lot of inquiries, and you shouldn't either, on a bankruptcy scorecard. I'll discuss scorecard on another live, but basically FICO has scorecards in which they grade or score different consumers who have similar credit situations going on. So the bankruptcy scorecard is typically the most, I hate to say the worst one, but it's the one where your scores are not going to increase as much as they could simply because you have a bankruptcy. So with your bankruptcy scorecard, inquiries are not your friend. So just because I would not like for you to get a lot of inquiries and I'm only looking at a Credit Karma score that you sent over, I would do safe bets. So Open Sky, you go to cards.mnhfinancialservices.com, cards.mnhfinancialservices.com. You're going to see a list of my no credit check secured cards. Then I will more than likely do a self-lender. I'll leave a link on here that I'll create a resources page. So I'll edit this, put a resources, some links on there that goes over, that has a link for self-lender. And that will be great for you. That'll be a great start. I wouldn't add on much too soon because, like I said, inquiries are not your friend. And make sure you pay everything on time. Budgeting is so key. One of the things that we mentioned in the rebuilding after bankruptcy, I start off, assess why the bankruptcy happened, assess your goals and where you see yourself over the next 3 to 5 years, because you want to be looking long term. Initially, the bankruptcy is going to affect you from doing some things. After 2 years, you can purchase again with FHA, so homeownership is not out of the picture for you. You will need to work on paying everything on time forever. That's a place you don't want to be again, and this comes from someone who's filed bankruptcy, making a decision that you will never be in a position where you ever have to file bankruptcy again. So it's really about putting yourself in a position to crush it, to crush your financial goals, to adopt more positive financial behaviors, to increase your credit scores, your budgeting. All of that has got to be in place. So a lot of that has to do with habits, budgeting, and bringing on products that you're going to utilize for quite some time. I'll take one more. I keep saying one more, right? But it's been good. I'm getting excited talking to you guys. All right, let me see. 2 years and 4 months ago, my credit score was super low. I looked out for my family and it backfired big time. I struggled to get credit, was approved for a secured credit card for $500, a credit one. So a secured credit card that you got for $500, a credit one that you got for $300. And I'm trying to see the question here. Okay, so right now you're at a 763 and your family member wants you to co-sign. What? Of course you're not going to co-sign. You said you learned your lesson, so learn your lesson. Let me tell you, when you co-sign for somebody, you're essentially saying, if they don't pay, I'm okay, and I have the capability or the ability to be able to pay when they don't. Is that your case? Are you, if you co-sign for a car, are you basically saying, okay, well, if you don't pay your car note, I'll pay it, no problem. I'll insure it, no problem. You can still drive it, no problem. If that's the case, don't do it. You ain't co-signing for nothing. All right. All right, let me wrap up, guys. I left all the links, so I'll be adding all the links after we do the live. I'm super excited to always be on here with you guys for a Credit Makes Sense segment. Probably the next one that we'll encounter is the one that, I don't know yet. I always get good ones, so I don't want to say which one I'm doing in case I change my mind. So, to take it to the next level. So to take it to the next level, I left a couple of links for you. One, soarmyscores.com. That's where you can get one-on-one assistance with me. I always suggest individuals first do a initial credit consultation to see where you are. Number two, if you are looking for me to help guide you from point A to point B when it comes to your finances, budgeting, destroying your debts, as well as soaring your credit scores, Credit on Fire is it. Inside of Credit on Fire, you have step-by-step courses that are outlined according to what you are working on the most, whether it's destroying your debt, mastering your money, destroying your soaring your FICO scores. So you get a downloadable success path where it's going to act as your guide or roadmap. It's going to outline what courses you're going to take, what milestones you're accomplished while going through different phases of your financial journey. You'll also have 2 Q&As by me and my team every 2 weeks. We have expert sessions as well, live lessons as well, side hustle series, and so much more. We are truly a debt-destroying, money-mastering, FICO-building community that is all about setting a solid or rock-solid financial foundation that we can begin leveraging and creating and building wealth from. Next, if you're in my free community, you need to come on in. CreditMakesSense.me, CreditMakesSense.me. We are prosperity partners. Would love to have you inside of our community so you can discuss your goals and we can help and support each other and hold each other accountable in doing so. So, hope to see you guys soon. Leave a slew of links, obviously. I'm always leaving links, but you guys' questions are so good, and I always like to create content to help you reach that next level, whether it's fee or free. So, talk to you guys later. Bye. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll chat with you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.